Welcome into this edition of the StC Sports Show. So, with the playoffs approaching, we're going to give a quick recap on all the sports that we've been seeing so far. We're going to start off with futsal with Alex Adi.
So futsal coming out this year, solid team led by some great seniors. They recently just had a blowout victory against New Community, 14-0, and they just won their last match against Collegiate and Blue Ridge, which they looked really nice, and they're coming in 1 week out from the Valentine Classic, which is their main event of the season, and they're looking to win this year, and I think they've got a good shot at doing so. So we'll see what happens, but a lot of good looks from the team, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that team's been doing really well behind that senior leadership.
Yeah, I mean, when you have guys like Guido Hagan, Warner Collier, Gerard Broussard, all three going to play soccer at the next level, helps the younger guys a lot.
Yeah, and Gerard and Collier are actually signing tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Should be exciting. Now we're going to transition over to Oliver Sabo with wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling team, as usual, is looking dominant this year. They won the Prep League on Saturday for the 20th straight year, and they're going states next week, which should be fun to watch. They're good enough to beat everybody. The problem this year has really been injuries. They've had to forfeit a good amount of matches. That, if you remember back to that Christiansburg match and Benedictine only losing by a point in a tiebreaker, the story of the night has been forfeits. So if they can get healthy, they're good enough to beat anybody, even Benedictine.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had a lot of injuries this year, and that has definitely not helped them in big matches they had against like Benedictine and Christiansburg. But going into the state tournament and state championship next weekend, I think it'll be really interesting to see as they have these 2 weeks to prepare and get everybody healthy.
Absolutely.
I think one storyline to at least mention is Spencer Court, a guy that isn't a wrestler whatsoever, stepping up into that 185 weight class. That's where a forfeit comes from for the Saints. So with Court stepping in, if he does anything less than a pin, Saints save some points. He can even save some. He got to win.
Yeah, two forfeits last match.
Yeah. Which is nice, because rather than having 0 points, you end up with 12, which is something ridiculous to think of. And if he keeps improving, I mean, that could be a big win for the Saints.
Yeah, Saints wrestling has struggled at the upper weight classes this year. 220, they have never had a guy this year. And Thomas Lambert's been having to bounce back and forth between 195 and 180. But yeah, so it's good that they have another guy to get in there and save some points.
Yep. Next, we're going to transition to squash. Squash team has looked phenomenal this year. Only one loss so far against Potomac, which is a team that is well known for their ability to recruit. That game was rough. Only one match won with Chris Schroeder, all the other ones a loss. However, they've been victorious in all their other matchups. They've looked really good. Led behind guys like Vaden Paget, Chris Schroeder. The loss of Alex Faber hurt a little bit. Had to see some guys step up. It's also a team with a lot of freshmen. Those younger guys, which proves to be very promising. Guys like Benoli Lupasi, guys that are really starting to make a name for themselves. So coming up on the 15th, the squash team goes to Episcopal for their tournament, and then looks to finish up in the Masso League, trying to make a run. I'm really excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, with the Nationals coming up, it'll be interesting and see how well guys play.
Yeah, you mentioned the freshman on the team. I think it's funny. One of their best players is a freshman. Number 2 seed on the team can compete for that number 1, Holden Woodward. So, yeah, the program's looking good, and it should continue to be that way for the next few years.
Now we're going to transition and switch over to track with Wayne Nolan.
Yeah, so they just had a meet this Saturday. They ran the big man 4x2, which was fun to watch. Some shot putters that ran that. Ian Smith set the record in the 600 meter. He's now 10th in the nation for that time. He also won the 300 meter. Jaden Smith did well in the 300 meter as well. Sully Beck won the 1,000, and they have preps upcoming, so they've had a good season, won a lot of events, and hope to continue that on Saturday.
Yeah, Ian Smith winning that event is huge. Won it by about 3 seconds. And that's something really impressive for a guy that typically runs long distance.
Sure, and they also won the 4x4 with Neil Dard, Johnny Whitlock, Sully Beck, and Ian Smith as well. So definitely got some good, strong leadership on that team.
Yeah, Ian Smith is also going to have a lot of college options this spring to figure out going into the spring track season. Already got a lot of offers, so it's looking good for him.
He's a fun guy to watch. I mean, this is a very talented team. The track is a team that always has a lot of depth. The Saints, and they're continuing that this year.
And I think surprisingly, one of the biggest competitors for them this year has been Collegiate, a team who typically isn't that strong in track, but this year really strong, and that's been the main competitor for the Saints.
Now we're going to go with swimming. Last week was huge for the Saints, winning the Prep League, both St. Chris and St. Catherine's. It was one that wasn't a big surprise. This swim team has looked fantastic this year, winning the states this year as in last year in 2019, and they won once again in 2017. The swim teams looked really good. Guys that were impressive were guys like Miles West, who won the 25 free.
Yeah, he actually broke a new school record last week, so that was fun to watch.
Yeah, Aubrey Bowles did really well, which was very impressive. But all throughout, a lot of guys that were making state cuts. And then in diving, Gray Broadus came in second, which is something that's also really impressive. So it was fun to watch. Now we're going to finish up with basketball.
Yeah, so Saints Varsity basketball actually took a really tough loss this Tuesday to John Paul the Great, a team who about 10-10 record on the year, was expected to be a pretty easy win for the Saints, but apparently they were up 10 midway through the third quarter and gave up a 22-2 run. And it was a John Paul team who had really good guards, and Saints guard play is a thing that has sort of kept them behind a lot of the other top prep league teams in Stab and Trinity this year, with a lot of younger guys. But another tough loss, but we got senior day against Fuba tomorrow at home, looking to bounce back. And it'll be interesting. They got Stab next week on the road and then the prep league tournament.
Yeah, last couple weeks have been brutal for the Saints. They've kind of gone on a skid, which has been kind of scary to watch. I mean, they started off really, really hot. Now that they're getting in some tough competition with 2 losses to Trinity, 1 to Stab, which looked to be like the number 1 and 2 seed in the prep league, and then with John Paul, it's looking a little rough. They kind of need to get a hot streak going pretty soon when they reach the playoffs.
Yeah, and they've got a tough matchup on Saturday as well at Stewart, a D2 team. It's one of the top teams in the city. Efton Reed, 7-footer, junior there. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
I'm excited to see Efton versus Williamson.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out, speaking of Williamson, be sure to check out 84 Feet. It'll be posted on Twitter and the website today. We just filmed that about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, so be sure to check that out. But as you were saying, although Efton Reed does have about 3-4 inches on Williamson, I think it'll be a crazy matchup as Williamson can definitely, prove his own against others in the prep league like Henry Coleman and Burke Smith.
And one thing that's worth mentioning is Williamson is starting to get more offers roll in. A guy that was averaging around 7 points last year has now dropped 30 in a game this year. Just spectacular. Really showing his athleticism. I believe he has 4 or 5 offers. It's looking really good. He's going to have more coming in. So that's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, he's just going to get the opportunity to play, walk on at the D1 level, Power 5 even. So that'll be interesting to see what he ends up choosing. But back to basketball and the guard play, it's been really interesting to see KP Bully develop over the season and, turn into a viable scoring option for the Saints, as they do struggle to find that viable 2 guard, as it tends to switch from game to game.
Well, we'll see if we can find that. That's all from us. Tune in to our next stream. It's going to be tomorrow with the Fuma game. So, thank you.